mix together.
That's all
for
correct.
you,
Yeah.
because we're looking at the whole GI tract
Right.
as well, and you also have some other issues for sleeplessness and for some sweating and stuff like that.
Correct.
But we're also going to be able to prioritize today
Okay.
as well, the issues. I also wanted to review with you the nutritional approach that I have, which is the functional approach.
Okay.
And just very simply, it means that whole foods, have the ability to help the body function better. It improves the function of the body.
Okay.
So the primary goal is to work with whole foods as much as possible to find the underlying causes for these symptoms,
Okay.
which you're still having, although they're minimized, which is great, which is wonderful. So would you agree with that, that it's more or less what I just said?
I definitely think it's, at this point, it's food related, where we can try to manage, a nutritional balance in my daily intake of food is what I'm trying to accomplish.
Okay, so a typical
So-
day for example, for today, what did you have for your meals, and how did you feel afterwards?
Today I had for breakfast, I had some pears, which is the cups.
Okay,
Had that, and I had some the Belvita cookies.
okay,
Breakfast on the run.
okay.
I had a hard-boiled egg.
Oh, okay.
Actually, forgot to mention that.
Okay.
And then at lunchtime, I had some sautéed potatoes with onions and ham. It was a leftover from last night, actually, and an apple for snack in the afternoon. And then for dinner, I had chicken and rice.
So you're getting
with some
in
pineapple in it.
oh, so you're getting your protein in with the egg and the chicken,
Mhm.
and later on in our sessions, we'll be looking at the quantities and the
Okay.
frequency and the size of your meals as well, to
Okay.
make sure that you have enough,
Okay.
that your daily value is satisfied as well and your requirements.
Okay.
But let's look a little bit at the assessments that I made for you.
Okay.
And it appears as if, based on your height and your current weight, and I know that you're working hard and you're very proactive right now, which is
Okay.
wonderful. You're trending towards overweight,
Okay.
and there tend to be more risk factors with being overweight,
Mhm.
and it could in fact impact on the GERD and the reflux,
Right.
and some gastrointestinal issues as well. But that was just one or two that I saw,
Okay.
and that your estimated caloric intake is roughly 1,300 calories.
That's what
A
I
little
should
bit
be
over.
taking in.
Yeah, it's about 1,300, 1,359.
Okay.
And that's just without any additional activity.
Okay.
So if you were exercising, we would factor more into that.
Mhm.
But just basically for just your food, just to live and survive and function, you need about 1,360
Okay.
calories a day.
Okay.
And then I noticed that your liquid intake is very, very low.
It is.
So we want to create more of 50% of your
Okay.
body weight. So for you, it would be about 75 fluid ounces a day,
Okay.
right now.
And that, and water only?
It could be a combination of water, teas.
Okay.
It can be a combination,
Okay.
even maybe some herbal teas, if you like some herbal teas as
I do.
well.
Okay.
But look for quality and for
Okay.
purity in your fluids as well,
Okay.
okay?
And remember to keep them caffeine free.
And caffeine free, exactly. You mean in terms of the sugar content?
Just the caffeine, maybe sometimes irritates me as well.
So the caffeine can actually be a stimulant and can cause some issues with your, the activity in the intestinal
Mhm.
tract. Is that what you're referring to?
Right.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So,
So as tolerated,
Okay.
sometimes there's caffeine in sugar. And then in terms of the lab data, we did have the diagnoses of GERD.
mhm.
There was a set diagnosis from the medical community,
Right.
from your physician, and you're working currently to sort of settle in on a lactose intolerance diagnosis, but it's not firm yet.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, the doctor has given me that diagnosis, but I'm, seeking other, professionals to see if we can find more, dig in a little deeper and get a more solid finding as to whether or not if there's any allergies going on. I've never had allergies in my life, so
Okay.
I've
And
been
you'll be,
told people can develop them later.
and you can develop them later
Yeah.
or during your lifespan.
Right, so, okay.
So are your goals the same, or have you changed some of your goals, or would you say that in the last couple of weeks, anything's happened that has set off another reaction? Did you think a little bit about triggers for some foods that might set off some of the
Yeah.
symptoms, or any antecedents in your past?
Yeah, I thought a little bit more about the antecedents and triggers. I really wasn't coming up with much. I guess if I want to think, really recent, a trigger that might have caused some symptoms for me. I know this past weekend I had been keeping up myself off carbonation, and I had a Sprite, and didn't feel very good for
Oh.
a couple hours.
So you had
but
a reaction, it was immediate.
yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty quick and nice,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna continue to stay off the carbonation.
So that could in fact be
So-
a trigger,
And, yeah,
that
and
type
it
of
could
thing.
cause more problems, right, so.
So continue to remain aware as much as possible of how
Mhm.
your foods and liquids or lifestyle factors might affect your, the GI tract and
Right.
your digestion and elimination as well.
Okay.
So how do you feel about what we talked about in terms of your physical findings, the trending towards overweight and some risk factors as they may relate to your health issues and symptoms? Does it surprise you? Did you expect something different?
Well, I didn't really think I would be on a trending to be overweight.
Oh, okay.
That kind of surprised me a little bit,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's good to maybe be aware, become aware of that before it becomes a problem, so that would be good, so.
And what about the amount of calories, just for your basic survival needs?
I always thought it was right around 1,500, so that seems.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, that's very intuitive. Exactly.
Okay.
So there are some other tests that we can also perform together, and they're called nutritional physical findings.
Okay.
And two that come to mind that we can do right now, in fact, is just to look at the nail bed and to see if you have any white spots or streaks there.
Okay.
And that could be indicative of a zinc.
Did you want to look? Okay.
Absolutely, of a zinc deficiency. And you
Okay.
do have a little bit going on.
Oh, okay.
A little bit
Okay.
here and here.
No, I didn't know.
So for the future, we might want to run some
Okay.
vitamin and mineral testing as well.
Okay.
And then there's another one that is very easy to determine when you touch the back of your
Mhm.
arm.
Okay.
Have you ever felt any small bumps, or is your skin
No.
uneven at all?
I don't think so. I don't,
Okay.
that doesn't sound familiar at all.
Okay. Because that one would be a lack of essential fatty acids.
Would it always be on the back of the arm, per
It's-
se, or?
It's one of the signs,
Okay.
back of the arm. It can probably be in other areas of the body, but that's just one indicator that we use as
I'll
well.
be aware of that if I,
If you do, yeah, let me know.
okay.
So those are two. And so in terms of the imbalances and prioritizing your symptoms, how would you want to move forward? Do you feel confident in moving forward with a dietary change to start resolving some of your symptoms and looking
Yes.
deeper into the diet?
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
what I'd like to get more information and assistance with, so
Okay.
I definitely would.
So your goals are pretty much the same
Yes, ma'am.
from the beginning. Okay, that's great. In terms of your readiness to start a change in your life, and sometimes change isn't always easy as we move forward, if we were to look at two factors that can quantify change, readiness and independence and confidence level,
Mhm.
if you had to rate it in terms of a scale from 1 to 10, 10's the highest, 1's the lowest, would you say that you are confident enough?
I think I'm up there in that 10 range. I'm definitely ready for some change, and
Okay. And in terms of the importance of this change as it relates to your issues, your dietary issues, or physical problems and diagnoses, can
10.
you Same?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. Then we agree on moving forward and that you're definitely ready to make some changes. Okay, good. Is there anything you want to discuss right now?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'll probably come up with a list at some point in time, but.
So we looked again at the possible antecedents and triggers. It's possible that some carbonation might be affecting the
Mhm.
gastrointestinal lining as well. The reflux is still there.
Yes, it's there.
Okay.
You know, I've been told it won't go away, so, you know, just continue to maintain it. And I try to, you know, make sure I eat foods and try to, that becomes my challenge here. You know, I've got to not only keep the milk out of my diet, but don't irritate the GERD, so.
Right. Any new symptoms at all? Anything most recent?
No, not really, nothing.
You mentioned something about the sleeplessness and some sweating at night.
I was thinking GERD, so
Yeah.
but you're
But
definitely
it's
right.
still, yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to get off track there. Yes, I have had, in fact, just last night, I've been up since about 3:30. I got up and was, you know, had another night where I was having a lot of sweating and used the restroom and just wasn't able to get back to sleep. And the next thing you know, it's time to get up and
Right.
shower for work. So,
So
yeah.
energy levels that are compromised
Absolutely.
by the disruption of sleep
Mhm.
and possibly from something that you ate or didn't eat.
Mhm.
And so moving forward, since you are feeling confident, and I wanted to mention also
Okay.
that when you checked off some of the way your feelings and how, you know, your mood is affected during the day by different experiences, most of them are very positive, and you do
Right.
come across as a very positive, confident person, so I do have a lot of faith that we can move forward together successfully. There are a couple of things I'd like to suggest and recommend, nothing,
Okay.
not a lot of recommendations certainly, but just a couple of things to start thinking about, that there may be some underlying vitamin or mineral deficiencies that have not been tested. So I would want to recommend some lab work. You could, you know, ask your physician to run certain minerals and vitamins, and I'm going to write those
Okay.
down for you.
Okay. That would be worth doing, I think.
Because you were on some medications that may have affected and compromised the gut bacteria.
Okay.
And gut bacteria, excuse me, especially after taking a lot of antibiotics, is involved in the production of several important vitamins,
Okay.
D, K in particular, and D is also a hormone, but also you need your calcium
Okay.
and your magnesium, and so those are, and you also need zinc too. So we need all of these things to work together for proper absorption and transport to the right organs
Okay.
and tissues, the correct ones, the target organs. So I'd like to look at the underlying mineral and vitamin values, and also recommend for the lactose intolerance
Okay.
some natural whole food ways to perhaps start depleting the calcium, for example.
Mhm.
And there's bone broth, there are smaller fish with little bones, like you may not like sardines, but sardines are one of them.
Okay.
And almonds and figs. There are a lot of
Okay.
foods we can add during the day to start repleting some
Okay.
of the ones that may be low.
Okay.
And then to also get some more calcium in, because I know you're concerned about your
Right.
calcium levels as well. So how do you feel about that?
Definitely.
Sounds
We
like
need-
a
yep.
plan?
Yep.
A
Sounds
plan we
like
can
a start of a
definitely
plan.
Start a
Anyway.
plan.
Mhm.
And also to increase your fluids.
Okay.
To make sure
Yes.
that during the day you increase your fluids. And I was also going to mention, just to begin to think about how often you're eating and the portions.
Okay.
Because if you eat too much late at night, it may in fact be interrupting your sleep, which you absolutely need.
Mhm.
You have to have your sleep because you
Mhm.
work full time,
Mhm.
you're very busy in your
Right.
life. And this way, if there's going to be a reaction, it might be prior to bed at all. But that you can start still keeping a little bit of a food journal
Okay.
for that. So what we'll do for the rest of the session is start looking a little bit deeper at your diet and ways we can change it. And
Okay.
as long as you agree with that and you feel
Absolutely.
that we can move forward. Okay? All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Perfect. Cut.